For this episode, I plan to start with some action and then get sleepier as we go along. But first, one item of housekeeping. A couple of people asked about the graphics in my first couple videos, and I wanted to show you what I use. This is a program called Reshade, and I only use two settings here. One is levels, which is really just a contrast enhancer, and the second is Luma Sharpen, which, as you would think, sharpens the image, the textures, and really helps with YouTube compression specifically. So I'll show you what they look like. Off now, and then back on. It's very subtle, but I think they make every game look better. The only other one I mess with sometimes, and I keep hotkeyed, is called display depth, or the limbo effect. And we may use it in some areas later. Right now, I'm excited to get to some action. The first thing I want to do is turn my camera around, run out onto this bridge, and see if I can see the wyvern fly out behind me, because I don't think I've ever watched that. And there she is. Worth taking the hit for a new experience. I'm going to run down and kick the ladder now before I forget. But I don't think I need the bonfire yet, so I'll run right back up. I don't think I'll go out to this area. This is a really nasty area, especially for that first playthrough, with the precariously placed hollows and the poison rats. Gave me a lot of trouble my first playthrough. First tradition with this wyvern, try to hit it with a throwing knife. Ooh. I may have just messed up. I think I went too early. Slightly disappointing. That was a rookie mistake. I did not anticipate hitting her with that first throwing knife. I'm not sure why I'm calling it a her. I don't think I've ever thought about it, but it seems right. I did not anticipate hitting her that first try, and I got a little too excited and ran before she actually got settled on the ground, which is a recipe for that fire move that she does. So let's try that again with a little more patience and tact this time. Let's see if I can get this first hit off again. Close, but not quite. Second one did it this time. Extra breath and go. There we go. And now, the second part of this tradition in this game that I truly never get tired of. I could say that about every, 5 minutes in this game, but watching this Hellkite wyvern fly away is mandatory viewing for me when I'm playing through. And I used to stand at the sunlight altar, but I think I prefer this spot right here on the bridge. I can hear those hollows walking around underneath the bridge. So long, Mrs. Hellkite. It's just beautiful. I love that. In case you don't know the difference between a dragon and a wyvern and a drake, and I think I'm right on this, but a dragon has 4 legs and wings. A wyvern has 2 legs and wings. And a drake doesn't have wings at all. So assuming those guidelines are real, whatever real means for fairy tale creatures, I think everything in this game would be considered either a wyvern or a dragon. There would actually be no drakes, even though there's references to drakes, such as the drake sword. But anyway, now that we have seen the Hellkite off, I'm excited to talk about this area coming up here. I think I'll wait to visit the Black Knight up in this tower. Yeah, I'll come back for him. I want to talk about this little battleground here with the armored boar right after I take this first hollow out. Alright, this area is one of the best examples to me of what makes the Souls games so infinitely replayable and enjoyable. When I stand right here, what happens is a multitude of potential futures plays out in my head. I could take the easy way. I could run up the stairs to the right, bypass everything, get through the gate, let the hollow close it behind me, and I'm home free. But that sounds kinda lame, right? So maybe I'll do the opposite. Maybe I'll walk straight up to that boar like, you wanna charge me? You must not know who I am. I am John Dark Soul. Slap him away at the last second with a parry. And for a second, feel like an actual badass, even though I'm clearly just playing a video game. Or maybe I could trick the guard hollow into closing the portcullis on him after I came through. Or I could run up top, grab the alluring skulls, get the boar's attention, throw one of those things down. Maybe I could just get him to end himself in the fire. But even if not, while he's distracted, I can get a kamikaze plunging attack off the top rope. There's just so many awesome options, and they all seem fun. But what actually makes it fun is the fact that no matter how good I think I am at this game, and no matter how familiar I am with it, any of my ideas can result in I think that's why oftentimes for me, I enjoy mini bosses and world enemies more than the actual bosses, especially on replaying the games. They just seem to allow for a little more creativity and experimentation and chaos to potentially ensue. Alright, I think that'll do. Time to move on. But before I head up to the parish, I have to backtrack to that Black Knight because I have one more tradition that I do every single time that I pass through this area. I think of this Black Knight as kind of the overseer or captain of the Undead Parish for some reason. And the reason I take my character's shirt off is because I just love the thought of him standing up here so menacingly for who knows how long. And then suddenly, one day, this emaciated little hollow comes running up the stairs, stands right in front of him fearlessly, and begins swiping away his comically large sword over and over until he just feels helpless. When I do it and I'm not recording, it makes me feel cool, but now that I'm explaining it out loud, kind of just makes me feel sorry for him a little bit. Definitely my favorite Black Knight for parry practice. Okay, before I get ahead of myself, let me re-equip my things here. You know, I just realized in the first episode I picked up the wolf ring and I never equipped it. Okay. A part of me wants to talk more about that sequence from like the first time you see the Hellkite up through this area, but I think I'll save that in case I have some time at the end if I want to do a little wind down story session, maybe reminisce on what I can remember of my first playthrough, but I think I'll finish clearing the parish now. I'm gonna grab the halberd over here. Halberd is such an excellent early weapon, you know. I think I actually switched to that for a moment. It is just so useful against these Baldur Knights. Oh, and one thing I want to do is check. I've got some humanity. I'm gonna pop this twin humanity before I get into the fight. Took a hit, but the humanity healed me up, so no big deal. because I want to have as high of a drop chance as possible, mainly for Titanite shards. I think I had one more humanity, yes. I'd like to get all the Titanite shards that I possibly can, but then there's a chance at that Balder Knight sword as well. Two pokes from the halberd. It's just too good. There's a shard. Oh man, that's such a cool, picturesque scene right there. With the statue in the back, lit up by the candles, and the, I think they're called Berenike Knights. In my head, I call them Berenike Knights. I know that's not how you pronounce it, but my brain likes that better. I find it kind of comical, I think. That was a little sloppy all the way around on both his and my part, but another Balder Knight down. There's one more Balder Knight down there by I think that's the Knight Shield, which is the shield that the Pudgy cleric in Firelink has, Petrus. And the fact that he has it is enough reason for me to not want to use it. There's a little trick here that I think I have to give a shout out to ENB, one of the OG Souls content creators. You can smack this wall, and most of the time, well, I think he was already on the way. Maybe if you just stand in that area for a certain amount of time, this guy comes over. Balder Helm. I thought you had to smack the wall, but I think he was already on to me before I did that. You can pull him over if you don't want to go all the way down to where he is. Alright, I'm going to finish clearing this area out, go up and take out the Berenike Knight. Gonna be safe. Get a heal. I came through this area in the first episode, and I think, yes, I've already picked up the Firekeeper Soul, so all I gotta do is take this guy out. I parried, but also got hit there, so be safe again. I'm heading down to Firelink after this, I think. Another parry and a strong attack. Oh, he's trying to heal. Another Titanite shard. Thank you, Mr. Barry. And yes, so I could go over to Andre and upgrade some things. I think I'll go down first. So, time for a relaxing elevator ride. Time to take a breath. Yes, I believe that is the Knight Shield there that Petrus has. And now, oh, my friend Greg's. Let's go ahead and talk to him.
Oh, hello. I am happy to teach you some elementary spells. Are you interested?
Possibly.
I am pleased to have a chance to give something back. Well then, let's get started straight away.
Okay. Soul Arrow could be useful. It's always nice to have a little magic. Magic weapon could be useful. RL Decoy is one of my favorites. And I think that actually might be the most useful thing I could pick up from him right now. I do have the catalyst, so I'm gonna grab that.
That'll do it.
And then, oh, I have the Firekeeper Soul that I've not turned in, so I'm gonna run down and talk to Anastasia. Anastasia? Again, not sure of the correct pronunciation there. And then, I think I'll rest here, but I'm not gonna level up yet, because I'm gonna run back over to Andre, and once I level up, then I'll be able to warp back here, try to take out the gargoyles. So I'm gonna run over to Andre and I'll see you there. No extra Titanite shards. So I'm trying to think about what I want to upgrade, and I'm not sure. There's nothing I have that I think I want to commit to. I have to remember to not rest at this bonfire here, because I want to warp back to Firelink. I'm just going to take a peek at what I got. So I've only got 3 shards, so I know I'm going to need 9 of those to upgrade fully. And then maybe I'll grab 3 extra. You know, I'm kind of enjoying the crossbow, and I've never attempted using it really at all. Definitely not on a boss fight. I think I'm gonna go full crossbow +5. And use that on the gargoyles and just see if it's viable. Maybe go ahead to get this to +3 just to get me to whatever weapon I want to use next. That leaves me with 2804. Does he sell crossbow bolts? Yes, he does. I'm gonna go ahead and get, you know what? I'm just gonna get as many of them as I can. There we go. Okay, now I'm just gonna bone out and go back to Firelink. Okay, let's get equipped here. I'll do the partisan in the right hand, along with the crossbow. I'll do the catalyst. Maybe upgrade the shield here. Grass crest is always good, but I kind of have a thing against using equipment that I've used so much before. The most standard or meta type stuff. I'll go with the Hollow Soldier. Pretty decent early shield, and I bet that's gonna put me mid-rolling. Let's see if I take off the helmet. Still mid-roll. Okay. In that case, I might as well just be as beefy as I can with the mid-roll and embrace it. So, oh, one more thing. I need to attune that RL Decoy spell. I definitely have a use for it, coming up here very soon. Okay, now just up to the gargoyles. Before I get too ahead of myself about the gargoyles, I need to make sure I make it through this gauntlet of rabid hollows up here, potentially buffed by the channeler. And first, this Balder Knight, which hopefully I can use his weakness to stare angles against him. And if he tries to parry me, which he's now doing, a jump attack. Another Titanite shard, I will always take that. Let's see, how do I want to deal with this? This is another one of those situations similar to the armored boar. Not quite as intense, but there's many different ways you can take this out. Let's test this crossbow now that we've upgraded it. Ooh, 90 damage? That seems... if I could aim it. 90 damage seems very, very viable here. Not bad at all. Oh, you know what? Let me equip these fire bombs. See if I can get into some shenanigans right here. I'm just gonna spam RL decoy. Till I get the whole crew. Not too bad. I think there's a soul packet back here. Yes. And then one more Balder Knight. I think I will leave Lautrec exactly where he is. Don't think I'll give him the time of day, but I do want to come over here to pick up a humanity. No, I didn't go human, and I know that both Lautrec and Solaire are possible summons on a gargoyle fight. And you know, now that I know that this crossbow actually does some decent damage, I feel like having a summons and using a crossbow would actually make this fight supremely easy. But I'm not gonna do that. I think I will top off, take my fire bombs away, leave the throwing knives on. Yep. That looks good. I do like that they give you this little window of movement here. So that the first time, kind of expecting a boss fight. And then you're like, ah, maybe not. Because they do put fog walls in that lead to not boss fights quite a few times. They do a good job in keeping you on your toes. In that way, I think. I'm a fan. Let's do this. I don't think I'm going to even worry about getting the tail cut. I think I'm just going to use the crossbow. See how that goes. 106 damage. Mid-air hit, that was nice. The poise from the wolf ring. This is a bad spot to be in. I need to get out of here. Go ahead and get a heal in. That was unfortunate. Okay, this is my window of opportunity right here. That was a very fortunate sequence of events there. And range is king. That went from being a very close call to the easiest gargoyle fight that I've ever had. And I got locked into that double fire breathing animation. Alright, let me take my moment to look around. We've got Seath's Tower up there. Sin's Fortress. Oh, I like that. There's a hollow down here that can see you. Pretty sure that I have had the moment where I narrowly escaped from this fight, only to walk to this edge, looking around at the landscapes, and get sniped by that dude, which may be a bit of an evil intention on the developer's part. I mean, that's exactly what they intended. Alright, really cool. Really cool area up here. Yeah, that was pretty fun, fighting the gargoyles with a crossbow. I'm glad I made that decision. And now I'm thinking about what I want to do once I ring this bell. I've got Darkroot Garden and Basin that I've not explored fully yet. I have a visit to the asylum that I would like to do sometime in the near future. I could go take the Capra Demon out. Really, everything that I do for the next segments of the game or the next session or two that I play is really in preparation to go to Blighttown. I'm not going to do anything like Sin Skip. The first half of Dark Souls is my favorite, where you set off on a journey and you know that you're committed. It's one of my favorite things about this game. I wanted to come down and see Cromwell here.
Greetings. I am Oswald of Carim, the power.
Oswald.
Dearest,
Cromwell's in Dark Souls 2? Is that right?
yet magnanimous are the gods. Cometh thou to confess, or to accuse? For indeed all sins my domain.
Yeah, I think Cromwell must be Dark Souls 2, because Cromwell was in my head as this guy's name, and it's Oswald. Do have a gesture I can get. I don't think there's anything. He sells purging stones. one of those is useful if you plan on spending a decent amount of time in the depths. Which honestly, I don't know if I'm going to or not yet. I haven't really mapped out. I have some ideas about a sequence of events, but I'm not positive. Okay, I think there was roughly 15 minutes left in this session here, but I'm going to come in with some post-commentary and allow myself to just ramble a bit. So consider this the bedtime story portion of this video if you would like. I want to tell you about a pattern that I find myself in. And I think my goal for even talking about this is to try to kick myself out of it. So the last month or 2 months now, I guess, has been as busy and hectic as any in my life, I guess. And there's been essentially no time for hobbies or things like this YouTube channel. And typically that means I have way more time to think about ideas than to actually execute anything. And that's just not healthy for me. I don't think it's healthy for anybody, but it gets me in kind of a weird paralyzed stalemate with myself. And yeah, I just want to share this little cycle that I find myself in. So I start out with an idea. I'm sure a lot of people do this, so I don't think this is special to me. But I just kind of want to explore it here. Oh, this program is called Obsidian. I use it on my phone, but I just now started using it on my desktop as well. I've got some little silly stuff here. Well, this is actually kind of relevant to what I'm talking about now. And I think I have some real basic ideas for this Dark Souls playthrough that I'm doing down here. Back on track here. Idea phase. Actually, I don't like that. Let's do something more clever. Idea Island. What color is Idea Island? Orange. Seems tropical. Okay. This is a wonderful place to be. It's a paradise. This is where I go to anytime I'm stressed, anytime I'm having to work on something that I do not want to be working on, that's time consuming and tedious. My brain floats off to Idea Island. And I'll use this YouTube channel as the example right now for obvious reasons, but this could be about many different things in life. It could be just personal projects, it could be creative projects. This is where they all start forming. And over days, weeks, months sometimes, they eventually form into very concrete, very detailed ideas that I have, that I have ruminated about and thought about to the point where it is real to me. It already is real. I can already see the entire thing. And I love it. I love the thing that I've created in my head. Then we get to the point where it's been rattling around up there so long that I finally have to attempt to get it out. This is the go phase. This is the execution. And this phase is also really fun. I'm usually a bit OCD or obsessive during this phase. Every bit of my free time is devoted to the thing that I'm trying to create during this phase. And while I'm doing this, the dream that I had up here in Idea Island is still real. It still feels attainable. I'm creating this thing that I have come to love and that I want in the world. This usually starts, to be honest, with something along the lines of, what is it that I want to consume? What piece of content, what piece of entertainment, what craft, what piece of music, whatever it might be. What is it that I would like to look out into the world and consume that would make me happy, that I would find interesting? And then I want to make that, right? So that's kind of usually where this starts. So now I'm making that thing. And I'm thinking about putting it out into the world. And perhaps people out there who are somewhat similar to me, have similar tastes, preferences, maybe they will find some kind of interest or feeling from the thing that I'm making, the video, the music, the thing that I'm writing, whatever it might be, as I thought that I would feel about it, right? And there's a little bit of a high when I finally finish that first effort, first song, the first video. There's a high of just the finished business of I have started the ball rolling. I am doing this thing. I'm on the journey that I've been thinking about for so long. And that lasts a very short amount of time until the inevitable disappointment phase. This is when I look at the thing that I have just created with a critical eye, and I'm thinking in terms of, did I create the thing that I wanted to consume myself? Is this the video that I wanted to watch? Is this the song that I wanted to hear? And the answer is basically always no. And so that, of course, leads to regret. Regret that I didn't execute it the way that I wish I would have, or even a deeper regret that I ever started in the first place. I start missing Idea Island, right? I start missing when it was this hopeful thing in the future that gave me some peace during times of stress. And now I've ruined it by trying to create it and falling short of my own expectations. And now I'm just kind of stuck here, regretting the whole thing. And that, of course, leads to a lack of motivation to continue. I don't like the way. There we go. A lack of motivation to even continue the project, continue thinking about it. I just want to kind of end it because it seems unworthy. And again, I think this is a pretty typical pattern for a lot of people, especially self-critical people, especially, I don't know, people who like to think and ruminate and live examined lives. I mean, I do this about my own, I guess you would call it self-growth. I have an idea maybe that I want to start, getting better in some specific aspect of life, whether it be parenting or being a husband or being a friend. And I'll have this kind of personal project for a while, and I'll get these ideas of what kind of parent I could be, what kind of friend I could be if I successfully evolved into this idea of myself. And I have a similar kind of pattern where at some point I realize, oh man, I've been thinking about this. I've been trying to put this into practice. Turns out it's more difficult than I thought. I'm not really doing the thing that I wanted to be doing. I'm not really being that person that I thought I could be. And then I start questioning myself, having the same thing. So it's similar. This particular one here, I would say, the one I'm discussing today, would be more of the creative. I'm going to call it creative neuroticism, even though there's probably a better way to describe it. But there's this negative feedback loop of the creative ideas that I have. Here, lack of motivation. So where does this lead? This typically leads because I have the idea that I actually liked. I execute in a way that felt good in the moment, and then I look back and I'm disappointed So then I get a lack of motivation to continue. And that actually leads back here, I would say. That leads back to disappointment and regret that I've once again fell into this pattern. Because the craziest thing to me is that I'm essentially aware of this, even during it. Of course, on reflection I am, but even during the process, because I've done it so many times, while I'm here, I know that my idea is slightly delusional and out of reach. While I'm here, I know that I'm too excited about this initial execution, and I should keep my hopes low in order to sustain some kind of energy or motivation. When I'm here, I know that I'm being too critical of myself. I know that I'm being way too harsh, and that this thing that I've made actually doesn't matter that much. I can just let it go, let it be what it is, continue on, make something else. I don't have to ruminate on it. I don't have to nitpick it. I don't have to think about it. I know each of these, even in the face, but I can't stop it. Or at least it seems that I can't. I am driven, or I'm caught up. Once I get here, it's just a slippery slope, because that idea, that every trip to Idea Island, every late night that I want to be working on something, but I'm too damn tired from the day, and so I'm just laying in bed trying to get to sleep because I know tomorrow's going to be another long day. Idea Island is such a nice place to visit, and over days and weeks of that, the ideas that I create are so satisfying. The completeness of them is so satisfying. It's just an inevitable flow, I guess, from there of failure and disappointment and regret, because I can never spend enough time or have the amount of creativity to perfectly execute what it is, because these ideas, I think I'm getting to something here that's worthwhile, because these ideas are not based on actual attainable goals. They're based on vibes and feelings, I guess. Meaning, if I'm writing a song in my head, right, I have the idea of the song, I have the idea of what I'll do on the instruments, I have the idea of what key it will be in and the tempo. I can have all that in my head. But what I really have as the idea is the way that song makes me feel, right? As if I heard it on the radio for the first time. So what I really have is the emotion evoked from that song. It's not about the execution of the details. It's about, can I capture the feeling that I get when I'm pondering this creation of an idea in my head? And it seems that is, for me, very difficult and maybe impossible, which leads to this thing of, maybe I'm just not good enough. Maybe I'm not skilled enough. Maybe I don't put in enough practice, put in enough work to be able to even execute an idea at all in a way that is worthy, right? Boom, here I am, back in this loop. So, I'm trying to get out of that. I'm trying to bust out of it right now. I have some ideas here that maybe I'll save for another time, but I kind of wanted to jump ship on this Dark Souls series because of this already. But I'm not going to. I'm going to commit to going at least to Ornstein and Smough. And then depending on if there's still interest there and motivation within myself and with any viewers, I might go from there straight into the DLC. But I'm at least going to do that. I'm at least going to finish this series, even if I hate it. Even if I am disappointed that I could not execute the sleep aid, relaxing Dark Souls 1 walkthrough-ish playthrough that I was trying to cultivate, that I've literally been building up in my head for probably a year or two. It was impossible, and I was disappointed from the get-go because of the expectations in my own head. So I'm going to try to lower that bar and just finish it. Just finish it. And if the only thing that comes of that is me being able to look back and say, this one didn't get me, so I want to maybe eliminate this and learn how to get this out of the way and go here instead. Just that. Until this series is done. Yeah. That's it. This is the thing that I was hoping to get to through this rambling that I'm currently doing. So I appreciate you for listening to my own therapy session. And feel free to hold me accountable. I'm going to try to prioritize this series for a while. Get it finished. Attempt to enjoy it while I'm making it. And then move on to yet another idea that I have, that I currently contemplate while going to Idea Island when I'm stressed out. I hope you have a great day, or sleep well, whatever it is that you're doing when this video ends. I hope the next video is far better than this one. I appreciate you spending a little time with me here, and I will see you in the next one.